From suicidal and living in his father's shadow to making millions of dollars in profit, this is the story of how Alex Hormozi changed his life. You've probably heard parts of Alex's story, how it was gym launch that made him a millionaire, or how it was the Grand Slam offer. But the truth is, none of that stuff is the reason Alex changed his life. Alex changed his life by failing as a son, getting a DUI, and losing every dollar he had. But Alex wasn't born with the courage to disappoint his dad and fail in spectacular fashion. Being an only child with no mom or extended family, his father, Dr. Hormozi, would become the only source of validation for young Alex. His father's pride would become the foundation of Alex's self-worth. So, Alex spent the first 23 years of his life making his dad proud. He got straight A's in high school, he was president of the powerlifting club, he graduated university early with straight A's. And all of his hard work would pay off. He earned a position as a strategic consultant as well as his father's approval. But Alex was miserable because Alex had spent the first 23 years of his life achieving all of his father's dreams and none of his own. Alex had always wanted to pursue his passion for fitness and open up his own gym. But the weight of his father's expectations held him back. 2 years into a career he hated and 23 years into a life of his father's choosing, Alex contemplated suicide. He hated the life that he had built, and he was so miserable as a consultant, he decided that he would rather die than continue his work. So, Alex made a plan to end his life and start a new one. But Alex couldn't move forward. His father would be distraught to hear of his plan and would see his plan to quit his job as a betrayal on doing all of the work he'd put into securing Alex's future. But Alex knew he had to choose between his life and his father's approval. So, Alex chose to live, quitting his job and only telling his father once he was already halfway across the country. After arriving in Huntington Beach, California, Alex would make his dream a reality by opening up his first gym, United Fitness. With only $50,000 in startup money, Alex couldn't afford an apartment, so he slept on the gym floor and worked every waking hour of the day, scrubbing toilets, mopping floors, and training clients. But the transition from high salary consultant to homeless personal trainer was not an easy one for Alex. With clients and friends alike giving him feedback on his new role, Alex struggled with his lack of status. Alex had sacrificed everything, and he had nothing to show for it. So, he went to work. Desperate to justify his sacrifices, he worked tirelessly until he mastered marketing and sales using a technique he would call the Grand Slam offer. Over the next 3 years, he would use the Grand Slam offer to grow from 1 gym to 6. But his ego demanded more and more, bigger and bigger numbers. So he got involved with 9 total businesses and 9 partnerships. Alex's ego caused him to spread himself too thin, blindly chasing revenue instead of focusing on actual profit. 6 gyms, 9 businesses, and 9 business partners relied on Alex's skill as a marketer and a salesman. But the stress started to take a toll on Alex.
A half a bottle of Johnny Walker Black every night to function. Like, not to get drunk, to feel back to not being stressed. That was the only thing.
So, late one night, he goes on a drive to clear his mind. Drunk, sleep deprived, and stressed, Alex would crash into a parked car going 60 miles per hour while being pulled over. A DUI and a near-death experience would bring Alex back to his senses, realizing that trying to meet the expectations of 9 business partners had nearly killed him. So, Alex called his mentor for advice.
I have a conversation with him, obviously, and he's like, your lack of making decisions is going to kill you.
Those words hit Alex like a truck, springing him into action. He called one partner after another, ending their deals and liquidating whatever equity he had left in the deal. He sold 5 of his 6 gyms, planning to go all in on gym launch. a gym turnaround company where Alex would fly out and fill a gym to capacity using the Grand Slam offer that he perfected while owning his own gyms. So Alex put $46,000 into his last gym's joint bank account. That was everything he had after 4 years of work. But one morning, Alex checks his business bank account where he'd stashed the $46K and finds only $300. Alex immediately panics and calls his business partner, demanding an explanation for the missing money. And that's when his partner says, "Well, I know you've been taking distributions, so this is just my fair share." Alex's partner had just casually accused him of theft as an attempt to justify his own actions. Alex immediately schedules a meeting with his partner to clear his name and try and get some of his money back. Alex and his partner meet, and he begins to show his bank account transactions line by line, proving his innocence. And that's when his partner exclaims that he doesn't care about any of that shit and wipes his papers right off the table. It was obvious that his partner had stolen all of the money, and Alex had just lost everything he'd spent the last 4 years building. Alex, disappointed his dad, slept on a gym floor and worked every day for 4 years straight. And now, he had nothing to show for it. But this wasn't Alex's first taste of failure. So he decides to use an old credit card from one of his gym businesses with a $100,000 limit to fund all 6 launches, spending $3,300 a day on each of these launches. And by some miracle, all 6 launches are a success, and the money comes pouring in just in time for him to pay off his credit card debt. So Alex keeps marketing and planning gym launches. He made over $100K from the last 6 launches, so he has big plans for the future of gym launch. But that's when a problem occurs: refunds. It turns out some of the gym owners had been telling the customers to request a refund from Alex so that they could charge the customer a lower price, cutting out Alex and making all the money for themselves. It caused Alex to lose nearly all of his profits. With his bank account draining from all the refunds, Alex knew he had to shut down his business. So he called his customers to break the bad news. But his customer would not take no for an answer. He begged and pleaded with Alex to come launch his gym, but Alex refused. The customer was so desperate, he asked Alex if he would just sell him the information on how to launch the gym. Alex didn't really feel like putting together a packet, so he told the man it would cost $6,000, hoping to get him off his back. The customer agreed immediately, and Alex was shocked by how easily he made $6,000. So Alex called every single customer he was supposed to do a launch for, and he offered to sell them the info instead. Alex went on to sell $60,000 worth of information that day. And with his new business model, the money started rolling in. Alex would go on to make over $3 million in profit in the calendar year. And if he didn't fail as the CEO of Gym Launch, he never would have discovered the business model that led to him making his first $1 million. Alex made the hardest decision of his life at just 23 years old. And 4 years later, he had nothing to show for it. First, he failed as a son. Then he failed as a gym owner. And then he failed as the owner of Gym Launch. Every single failure prepared Alex for the next stage of life. It was this cycle of failure and facing his fears that turned Alex from a suicidal consultant into one of the most influential entrepreneurs of his day.